Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Skill Up. My name is Ahmed Akbari. I'm IELTS Speaking instructor and I sometimes record my teachings in my classes. And today we talked about an important thing in IELTS Speaking Part 3, which is starting IELTS Speaking Part 3 questions. In other words, today we practiced the different ways that we can start answering questions in part 3. So if start answering the question in IELTS Speaking part 3 is a little bit difficult for you or you have no clue how to start your answers in IELTS Speaking part 3, I think by watching this video you will learn 3 or 4 interesting ways which can help you to start answering questions in IELTS Speaking part 3 smoothly and efficiently. Okay, listen to me guys. You asked me something important, and it is the question that how can I start my answers in part 3? What should I say when I want to start? Because as I could see, it is a little bit difficult for you to organize your thoughts in the beginning and have something to say. Okay, so let's check the different ways which can be helpful when you want to start a question. And as you can see, there are 4 different ways. We will check them one by one. The first one, which is so common, is a time that you want to buy time for yourself. As you've noticed, some of the questions in IELTS Speaking Part 3 are a little bit challenging. And it is strange to start answering because in the first place, they are difficult to be answered. And you want to buy yourself some time, okay? And, we shouldn't forget that it is strange to just look at the examiner. I ask you the question and you just keep staring at me. It's strange. Or if you keep, I can say, for a long time again, it would be a little bit awkward. So we need some plans. The first one is let's say acknowledging the fact that the question is difficult. Why we should try to hide the fact that it's difficult to answer. So let's be honest in the beginning. Honesty is the best policy. So you start with, frankly speaking, to tell you the truth, I've never thought about it. Tell it to me. This is the first time. Or for example, to be honest, this is the first time I'm encountered with this issue. Let me see. Communicate with me. Okay, I understand that some of this question might be difficult to be answered, but still I need you to communicate with me. So instead of being afraid, okay, instead of hiding the fact that this is the first time, please communicate. Again, frankly speaking, to tell you the truth, I don't know if you want to change anything else here, it's up to you. These are just my suggestions. I just want you to remember how to do that. I'm not telling you use these specific words, no. I've never thought about it. Let me see, let me think. The second one, to be honest, this is the first time I'm encountered with this question. For the first time in my life, I'm hearing this question. So let me see, let me think, and then it would make it even better. The third way, take a deep breath and repeat the key words. Okay, for example, the question is something like this. How can governments increase public awareness about environmental issues? And you want to buy some time for yourself. First of all, take a deep breath. Ways of improving public awareness. Let me see. It is quite common. It's very common. When you take a deep breath, first of all, you feel yourself a little bit relaxed. Because basically, whenever you take a deep breath, it reduces your tension. So take a deep breath. Be real, be honest. And then just repeat the keywords. For example, I asked this question. Why do some people become workaholic? The reason that people are workaholic. I think. So take a deep breath, paraphrase the question itself, and then start answering. And as your examiner, I'm aware of this fact that you're thinking. Okay, so be honest and try to buy yourself time. And this is the natural communication. In IELTS Speaking Part 3, you aren't supposed to do strange things. There is no, I don't know, shortcut. There is no golden tip. No, it's exactly based on real communication. So these are the strategies that people usually use when they are discussing complex questions, difficult questions. This is the first one. The second one, how to avoid. In some specific, I don't know, cases, maybe the question is really difficult. There's nothing in your mind and it is impossible to extend your idea. Okay? So you start with, I'm not an expert in this regard, but if I'm supposed to make a guess, I'd say, you can use this strategy just once in one of the questions. You can use this strategy for all the questions that I'm asking. You can use it once. So, it's a kind of one shot, one opportunity, as Eminem says, okay? So, make sure the question is really difficult to be answered. And when you know there is nothing in your mind, okay, so use this. I'm not an expert. If I'm supposed to make a guess, when you say if I'm supposed to make a guess, you signal that, okay, it is difficult for me to answer. And the examiner will understand this question is somehow complicated. And based on my own experience as an IELTS speaking instructor, I have seen that most of examiner gives you another chance. They ask you another question. In most, such a nice question, in most cases, no, because as an examiner, I understand that maybe one of these questions is very difficult, and it's not about your ability in language. Okay, so because of that, most of the time they give you a second chance, so they give you another question in order to check the language. Because, my friends, if you insist on answering it when there's nothing on your mind, without a doubt, you go off topic. Because you don't know what to say. It doesn't matter what you want to say. You will be disorganized. So for one of these questions, it is possible to avoid somehow. 3, reactions. Basically, it has 2 different ways. A personal reaction, a general question, or general reaction. Listen to this example. The question is, how can governments increase public awareness of environmental issues? And you're a kind of person who has always been curious about it. Or you're a person that you have studied this major in university. So you start with reactions. How can governments increase public awareness? You start like this. You know, as a person who has always been interested in environmental issues, I have a lot to say. And the question is, do you think the architecture of a city can represent its identity? And imagine that you have studied architecture at the university. Yes? So start like this. As an architect, I have a lot to say. To begin with, okay? Or for example, the question is, do you think time management is important in your life? So you start like this, humorously. As a person who have never learned it, I think yes. Or as a person who has always problem with time management, I have to say yes, I'm a good person to answer this question. Or for example, imagine you have children. The question is, why do you think some children do not listen to their parents' advice? And you start like this, as a mother, as a father, as a child, I'm a very good person to answer this question. It makes your response lively. It shows that you haven't memorized anything. It means that you're open to communicate. And what's the second one? A general reaction. I asked this question. Why do you think some people don't pay attention to environmental issues? And it's all like this. To tell you the truth, nowadays it's a widespread problem. Nowadays it's a global issue, particularly when the question is somehow something that is global. How can governments reduce air pollution in megacities? You can start like this. You know, it's a hot topic nowadays. Most of the countries around the world are struggling with. But if you ask me, I ask you this question: do you think robots will replace teachers in the future. And it's all like this. To tell you the truth, it's a controversial issue. Okay, because it means there's a lot to discuss here. Okay, so it's a hot topic, it's a controversial issue, it's a widespread problem, it's a global issue. In this way, first of all, you mentioned that what you're asking me is a kind of a global problem, a global maybe issue, and it gives you more time for thinking. Again, it makes your answer very reliable because the examiner will understand that you're communicating. You haven't memorized anything. Your speaking is spontaneous. Okay? And the last one, when you're different, when your own idea is a little bit different from what other people think, or you get the feeling that maybe what you're going to say is different from what the examiner is going to, I don't know, hear. And stuff like this. I could be wrong, but I believe that. Or maybe not everybody agree with me. Not everyone agrees with me, but I think it's very interesting. Because first of all, you show that, okay, I'm sure that my idea would be a little bit different. I know that. Okay, but I still want to talk about it. I have enough courage to talk about it. Okay? And then you can start answering. And the last thing that I want to tell, the reason that using these strategies can help you in IELTS Speaking Part 3, apart from this fact that it gives you more time for thinking, apart from that, it makes your discussion natural. It shows that you're discussing something, I don't know, based on your own experiences. You haven't memorized anything. This is the first reason that is important. The second one, these questions, when you start with one of these strategies, first of all, it shows that you have listened carefully to the question. You know what you have been asked to talk about. And it gives you more self-confidence when you want to start. It gives you a sense of direction in order how to extend your idea logically. Okay? So, again, when you're practicing, please use this strategy whenever it's possible. Listen carefully to the question, and if it's possible to use one of these ways in order to start, it makes your answers more interesting. Okay? So let's get back to practice.